Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. We are going to practice peace for 30 minutes. If you're familiar with the recently completed Walk for Peace by the Buddhist monks who walked from Texas to the nation's capital, and you're familiar with the mission statement that they shared, they did that to remind us that peace is a practice. Peace is not something that someone gives us. It's not something we wait for someone else to negotiate. Peace is a practice that begins with the individual. And as we make time to intentionally practice peace and cultivate that emotion within ourselves, we then radiate peace outward to the people around us, our families, our friends, our coworkers, and people in the community. So it's really important for us to set some time aside on a regular basis and practice cultivating peace within ourselves so that we can then share that with others. What we're going to do this evening is we're going to practice some energy medicine techniques. These are designed to work with the energy in your biofield to help remove blockages or stagnations that can accumulate in our biofield and then lead to disease that eventually will manifest as something physical within our system. Before we begin, I would invite you to take a moment, tune into yourself, and think about how peaceful you're feeling right now. What's disturbing your peace? And if you were to rate your peacefulness on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being total zen and 10 being about as anxious and unpeaceful as you ever get, where would you rate yourself on that scale? This is just something subjective. Give it a number and we'll come back to it later. You may have seen these scales like this one right here. You see them sometimes for pain in the doctor's office. So just think about like where would you be on that scale? We're going to begin with intentional breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, because breathing is fundamental to helping our alarm system in our brain, that fight or flight activation, to slow down and allowing our central nervous system to return to homeostasis. So as we spend time with intentional breathing, what I would really encourage you to be aware of is inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. And one way that you know that you're inhaling completely is if you rest your hand over your belly. When you inflate your lungs fully, you will feel your belly expand. And then as you exhale all of the stale air out of your lungs, you'll feel your belly pull back towards your spine. This may take some intentional effort if you're not used to it. And a lot of us don't realize how shallow we're breathing all the time. So let's begin with a few deep breaths. Bring your attention to the air moving in and out of your body. Begin to slow it down. Make your inhales slow yet complete, feeling your diaphragm distend downward and your belly moving outward. And exhale completely, feeling your belly pull back towards your spine. Everybody's breathing rate is different. So just take a moment and find a pace that works for you, slowing it down as much as you can. It may help to count as you're inhaling and exhaling. Sometimes people like to count up to 4 with an inhale. So that would be like inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for a moment. And then exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Just continuing to breathe. If this feels really different for you, if you're realizing that maybe you usually breathe a little faster or more shallow, I have breathing exercises, videos on my channel that where I actually will count for you with the inhales and exhales. And you can pull one of those up and practice. Hopefully you're feeling yourself start to slow down, feeling your mind become a little calmer, letting go of some of that overwhelm. It's hard not to feel overwhelmed these days. We have so much coming at us, and we're trying to catch it all. And that can just be so overwhelming. Now, another thing that can happen when we are in a state of anxiety is we become what's called ungrounded. And you've probably heard that. But scientifically, it's like the grounding wire in your home, which helps to discharge excess electricity when there's a circuit overload in your home. And studies have shown that we are naturally grounded to the earth as well. That there was a time when we spent a lot of our day in direct contact with the earth, and that kept us grounded. But nowadays, we spend a lot of time inside or walking on concrete sidewalks or asphalt. And even when we're outside, our shoes have rubber soles, and that insulates us from the energy of the earth. Excuse me. So, a great way to get yourself grounded is to spend some time outside barefoot. And if it's uncomfortable for you to have your feet in the grass, you could put a blanket down, sit on a blanket, anything that's uninsulated. We can also ground ourselves with intention, and that's what we're going to do next. So I would invite you to rub your hands together briskly, allowing some heat to build. Shake them off. Rub them together briskly again. And then allow your hands to rest on your thighs, feeling the warmth from your palms as it enters your thighs. And now I want you to imagine that warm sensation moving down your legs and into your feet. Concentrating your attention on the bottoms of your feet. And now imagine that you have roots emanating from the bottom of your feet. And feel those roots begin to extend downward through the floor, through the foundation of the building you're sitting in, down into the earth. Imagine what it feels like. The dirt is cool. It may be damp. And allow your roots to continue to extend downward like the roots of a tree, growing, expanding. Past the roots of trees, past rocks and underground streams, past crystals forming in the darkness. And feel your roots extend all the way down to the center of the earth, that molten core of warmth that supports all life on this planet. And with your next inhale, imagine the warmth of the earth traveling back up your roots, up through the soil, through the floor, and into your feet. Feel your feet getting warm. And with your next inhale, feel that warmth expanding upward even higher, coming all the way up to the vicinity of your heart. And now let us spend a few moments in this state. With each inhale, retrieving that warmth from the earth and storing it in our heart. If there's something that's bothering you, if there's pain somewhere in your body or discomfort, when you exhale, you can imagine that discomfort flowing down your roots, that excess congested energy returning to the earth where it can be recycled. Inhaling the warmth of the earth and exhaling anything that does not serve you. Now that we have roots like a tree, let's create some branches. Imagine this warmth extending upwards even higher to the crown of your head. And then from the crown, extending upward even higher, like the branches of a tree, growing, expanding. And imagine if your branches could reach all the way up to the clouds, up into the atmosphere, and all the way up into outer space, to the twinkling stars. And feel the energy of the cosmos flowing down your branches. And again, settling in the area of your heart. As you inhale, feel the warmth of the earth coming up into your body, all the way up and through your crown and up your branches and out into the cosmos. And as you exhale, feel the energy of eternity flowing back down your branches, down through your crown, out your feet, and down your roots back to the earth. So that you become like a tree trunk of light, a column of light, a column of energy connecting earth and heaven. And just sit with that feeling for a moment. Connected to the crystals down below and and the stars up above. And now I invite you to take one hand, and while one hand is over your heart, I'm going to move the camera down. With the other hand, rub the gamut point. If you were with me last week, we did this. It is a point on the back of your hand. If you take your pinky finger and your ring finger and you trace them down, there's like a little groove in there. That's your gamut point. And let's just spend a few moments with your hand resting over your heart to massage that point. The gamut point is on the triple warmer meridian. It is a meridian that is associated with keeping us safe by avoiding anything that is unfamiliar. And there's certainly a lot of unfamiliar going on these days. And that kicks our triple warmer meridian into high gear. So let's just give it a little massage to unblock it. And I'm feeling the need to massage the other hand. So if you want to switch, you can do that. And if you were with me last week, we also massaged our neurolymphatic reflexes. So let's do that again. This is the area where the arm joins the torso. Just take your middle three fingers and massage around in that area. And if you find a spot that's tender, I just did, that can be an area of blocked energy. You want to stay on that. You don't want to push so hard that you injure yourself, but you do want it to unblock. Now, this next little motion we're going to do is the crossover shoulder pull. And we're going to start by taking one hand, it doesn't matter which one, and place it on the opposite shoulder. Push in, and then drag that hand diagonally across your body to the opposite hip. And then do the same thing with the other side. And we're just going to do that a few times on each side. This helps balance the energy in our body. Sometimes we can get a little lopsided. And next we're going to do a technique that I call the focuser technique. And I'm going to take my glasses off for this one. I just decided that's probably going to work better. Let's start by rubbing your hands together, shaking them off, rubbing them together again. And now I want you to imagine that you have a ball of energy between your palms. Feel that ball of energy growing, getting larger. And you may have the sensation as you bring your palms apart and together, you may have the sensation of resistance or heat building between your palms. We're creating an energy ball. If you don't feel that, it's fine. It can be there and you just maybe don't detect it. It takes practice to feel energy. And now we're going to take our hands and we're going to place them over our heads. One hand is going to rest on the forehead, and the other hand is going to rest on the back of the skull, right above the neck, right where your skull begins to curve outward. And as you hold your hands in this position, remember that sensation of energy if you felt it between your palms. And if you didn't feel it, you can just imagine it. Energy flowing between your palms through your head. And as that energy flows between your palms, it's very gently clearing away any blockages, impedances, or stagnations. It's clearing away the worry, the fear, the anger, the frustration. And see the inside of your skull just filling with pure white light, clearing and cleansing. This is a great technique if you have a headache. Since I learned this technique, I have never taken a Tylenol for a headache, and I learned this technique probably 6 years ago. I also don't get headaches like I used to just because my energy is better regulated. Now for the next part of the technique, I want you to move your hands so that your fingers are positioned over your eyes. Very, very gently. We're not pushing in. Very, very gently, just resting over your eyes with your fingers pointed towards each other, towards the base of, towards your nose. This might feel really good on your eyes because there's heat from your fingers warming your eyes. That might feel really good. I'm not pressing in or anything, but I'm going to pull my hands apart and let my fingers rest on my temples. I'm taking a deep inhale. Let it out slowly. Now we're going to take our fingers and we're going to move them up over the top of our ears and down the back of our neck as far as you can reach. And then we're just going to let our hands hang on our shoulders. This also might feel really good, especially if you've got some tension in your shoulders. Taking a deep inhale. Let it out slowly. And now pushing in, bring your hands down and allow them to rest over your heart. Let's do that 2 more times. Fingertips resting over your eyes. Open them up to the temple. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Fingers go up over the ears, down the back of the neck. Let your hands hang on your shoulders, pressing in. Then drag them down to your heart. And one more time. Fingers over the eyes, out to the temples. Inhale. Exhale. Up over the ears, down the back of the neck, hanging on your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, pressing them in and pulling them down. Now I would invite you to tune in to how you're feeling and think about whether the way you're feeling has shifted with these very simple techniques that we used. How has that number changed? If it hasn't changed much, I would encourage you to do these exercises or these techniques on a regular basis. And your body will become more acquainted with them, and your body will respond more quickly to them. Most of the techniques that we covered this evening are in my book, 8 Intentions for Self-Healing. And on my website, and anyone can download this, on my website, I have what I call the companion document that goes along with the book. The techniques that are described in the book, I have videos for all of those techniques, and the links to the videos are in the companion document. And the companion document is available for free on my website, carolynpitts.com. So you can go there and go to 8 Intentions book and just scroll down to the companion document and download it. And then an early page in the document has links to all of the techniques that are described in the book. And that includes intentional breathing, intentional grounding, the focuser technique that we did this evening. Thank you for being here. We are right about at 30 minutes. So great job. I hope that you are feeling better with some intentional peace practice. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will stay on. Otherwise, I can thank you again for being here. I love you. Intend love, intend peace, intend well, and I hope to practice with you again soon.